The world beneath the waves breathed with a mechanical heartbeat, a rhythm of revenge and hope that had taken decades to orchestrate. Dr. Kira Yoshida's fingers danced across quantum interfaces, her augmented neural implants processing terabytes of data with each heartbeat. Around her, the Poseidon Complex, humanity's most ambitious secret, hummed with potential. 10 years had passed since the Nexus incursion, the day alien forces had almost erased human civilization from existence. But humanity didn't break. They adapted. Quantum resonance stabilizing, Kira muttered, her voice carrying the weight of countless sleepless nights. To her left, Admiral Elena Rodriguez studied a holographic representation of the fleet, 1,000,000 ships that defied every known principle of naval and space construction. The complex itself was a marvel of human ingenuity. Situated in the Challenger Deep, it was more than just a shipyard. It was a living, breathing ecosystem of technological resurrection. Massive pressure-resistant domes interconnected like neural networks, each section a specialized chamber of creation. Nanofabrication units worked tirelessly, growing ships that were part machine, part living organism. "We're detecting microfractures in Sector 7, interrupted Dr. Marcus Chen, sliding his augmented data pad across the central holodeck. His cybernetic eye flickered, running simultaneous diagnostics. The experimental quantum adaptive hull material is showing unexpected stress patterns. Elena's prosthetic arm, a masterpiece of biomechanical engineering salvaged from the last war, interfaced directly with the complex's central eye. Scars from energy weapon impacts traced her neck, a permanent reminder of humanity's near extinction. "Run a full quantum resonance recalibration," she ordered. "We can't afford a single weakness." The eye, a quantum distributed consciousness named HFY, Advanced Reactive Intelligence Array, responded instantaneously. Holographic displays shifted, revealing intricate molecular-level adjustments happening in real time. Each ship was more than a weapon. It was a testament to human survival. Kira zoomed into a microscopic view of the ship's hull. What looked like random molecular structures to an untrained eye was actually a carefully designed adaptive matrix. These ships could heal themselves, change configuration mid-battle, absorb and redirect energy in ways that would make traditional military strategists weep. Biomechanical integration at 97.3%. HFY reported. Quantum entanglement drive synchronization complete. A massive tremor ran through the complex, not from external forces, but from the internal energy generators preparing for final activation. The ships weren't just being built, they were being born. "Remember why we're doing this," Elena said quietly, her voice cutting through the technological symphony. Her eyes, one natural and one cybernetic, reflected a landscape of lost cities, of billions of lives extinguished in the Nexus incursion. Dr. Chen's hand touched a memorial wall, a digital mosaic of faces, of those who didn't survive. Billions of names, each representing a story cut short. "They thought we were just another emerging species," Marcus whispered. "They thought we'd be a footnote in galactic history." Kira's lips curled into a razor-sharp smile. They were wrong. The first wave of ships began their final integration process. Metamaterials shifted, quantum drives hummed with barely contained energy. Each vessel was a promise. Humanity would never again be caught unprepared. Estimated full deployment in 72 hours, Araya announced. The ocean around them seemed to hold its breath, waiting. The United Earth Diplomatic Corps headquarters buzzed with an electric tension that no one outside could comprehend. What appeared to be a standard diplomatic meeting was, in reality, the most elaborate trap in human history. Ambassador Jonathan Rice adjusted his communication implant, a near-invisible device that was simultaneously translating, recording, and analyzing every microscopic nuance of the incoming alien delegation. Around him, a carefully selected team of human representatives looked deliberately unprepared, a masterful performance of technological naivety. The Galactic Confederacy's delegation entered the chamber. a bizarre collection of beings that would have seemed impossible just a decade ago. Ambassador Zixtal led the group, a crystalline entity whose body shifted like living glass, refracting light in impossible geometric patterns. Behind Zixtal stood representatives from 17 different star systems, each with their own biological peculiarities that spoke to the vast diversity of the galactic community. What they didn't know was that every single molecule in the room was being analyzed. Quantum sensors embedded in the walls, floor, and even the diplomatic team's clothing were collecting data at a rate that would have overwhelmed any known computing system. But ARI, the distributed quantum AI, processed the information like a living, breathing intelligence. Humanity has been under careful observation. Zixtal began, its crystalline form shifting to what it believed was a non-threatening configuration. The Galactic Confederacy wishes to extend a protective integration protocol. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, now in her diplomatic persona, every bit as dangerous as her military role, sat to Jonathan's left. Her prosthetic arm was carefully calibrated to look like a standard medical replacement, hiding its true potential. A network of quantum communication devices ran through its molecular structure, continuously transmitting and receiving data. Jonathan leaned forward, playing his role perfectly. "We're honored by the Confederacy's interest," he said, his voice carrying just the right mixture of hope and uncertainty. Beneath the surface, a far more complex game was being played. In a hidden command center thousands of meters below the Pacific Ocean, Dr. Kira Yoshida watched every microsecond of the interaction. Her neural implants allowed her to see beyond the visual spectrum, reading electromagnetic signatures, quantum entanglement patterns, and communication frequencies that the aliens believed were undetectable. "They're running a standard Category 3 integration protocol," Kira muttered to Marcus Chen, who stood beside her. "Textbook approach for emerging civilizations." Marcus's cybernetic eye flickered, running simultaneous analyses. Typical colonization vector. They've done this hundreds of times. The alien delegation continued their presentation, a carefully crafted document outlining humanity's integration into the Galactic Confederacy. It was a colonization plan disguised as diplomatic assistance, complete with resource extraction protocols and cultural alignment strategies. What they didn't realize was that humanity had been preparing for this moment for years. Every word was being processed through quantum linguistic algorithms that were simultaneously translating, analyzing cultural subtext, and mapping potential strategic implications. The human team wasn't just listening. They were dismantling the entire diplomatic approach in real time. Zixtal continued, unaware of the complex counterplay happening beneath the surface. "Your species shows potential. The Confederacy wishes to guide your development." Jonathan Rice smiled, a calculated expression of gratitude that masked a far deeper understanding. Each of the human representatives had been chosen not just for their diplomatic skills, but for their ability to process and redirect complex informational streams. Dr. Rodriguez's prosthetic arm micro-adjusted, its quantum communication systems preparing for the moment of revelation. The million-ship fleet waited, silent and patient, beneath the world's oceans. The trap was set, and the Galactic Confederacy had no idea what was coming. "We are grateful," Jonathan responded, his words carrying multiple layers of meaning that would only be understood in retrospect. "We look forward to learning from the Confederacy." In that moment, humanity's true first contact began. Deep within the Poseidon complex, Dr. Marcus Chen stood at the epicenter of humanity's greatest technological revolution. The ship emergence wasn't just a military deployment. It was the culmination of a radical fusion of biology, quantum mechanics, and human imagination. Each vessel was a living theorem, a mathematical proof of human potential that defied every known principle of engineering and physics. Dr. Yara Okoro, the complex's chief xenobiological engineer, monitored the final integration stages. Her hands moved across holographic interfaces that pulsed with living data streams, tracking the metamorphosis of each ship. "Quantum resonance stabilization at 99.8%, she called out, her voice a mixture of scientific precision and barely contained excitement. Biomechanical integration reaching critical synchronization. The ships weren't simply constructed. They were grown, engineered at a molecular level that blurred the line between technology and living organism. Each vessel contained multiple layers of adaptive intelligence, not just an AI, but a distributed consciousness that could react, learn, and evolve faster than any known computational system. In a sealed chamber adjacent to the main fabrication hall, a prototype ship began its final activation sequence. Liquid metamaterials flowed like blood, crystalline neural networks sparked with quantum potential. Adaptive hull segments shifted and reconfigured with mathematical precision. Marcus watched the process with the intensity of a parent witnessing childbirth. "The Nexus never understood us," he muttered, more to himself than anyone else. "They saw technology as a tool. We see it as an extension of consciousness." The ship before him was more than a weapon. It was a philosophical statement, a living proof of humanity's capacity for innovation. Its quantum drive could manipulate space-time like a mathematician solving an impossible equation. Its adaptive armor could redistribute energy, absorb impacts, and restructure itself in microseconds. Yara's augmented vision tracked microscopic changes. Quantum entanglement communication arrays are achieving multi-dimensional synchronization, she reported. "We're not just building ships. We're creating a distributed neural network that spans multiple dimensional states." Each ship contained genetic memories, not just digital records, but actual encoded biological information drawn from the survivors of the Nexus incursion. The trauma, the resilience, the unbreakable human spirit was literally built into their molecular structure. Dimensional fold capacity at 76%. AI, the quantum AI, announced. Its voice was neither male nor female, neither human nor machine. A perfect representation of the technology surrounding them. In another section of the complex, robotic systems worked with impossible precision. Nanofabrication units constructed components that would have been considered magical just a decade earlier. Quantum-locked materials shifted and adapted, creating hull sections that could repair themselves, redirect energy, and communicate across impossible distances. Marcus approached the prototype ship, his cybernetic eye running continuous diagnostics. The vessel's surface rippled, not from external force, but from internal reconfiguration. It was breathing, learning, preparing. "We're beyond weapons," Marcus explained to Yara. "These are living ecosystems. Each ship is a complete civilization, capable of survival, adaptation, reproduction, if necessary." The philosophical implications were staggering. Humanity wasn't just building a defense mechanism. They were creating a new form of distributed intelligence that could survive anything the universe might throw at them. Yara's augmented interface showed the ship's internal structure, a complex network of biological and technological systems, so advanced they made previous alien technologies look like primitive toys. "Quantum drive engagement sequence initiated," Araya announced. The ship began to hum, not with the mechanical sound of engines, but with a frequency that seemed to resonate with the very fabric of space-time. It was a sound of potential, of promise, of a species that had looked into the abyss of extinction and decided to rewrite the rules of existence. "Full activation in T-minus 60 seconds, Araya continued. Marcus and Yara watched, knowing that what was happening wasn't just a technological breakthrough. It was the next stage of human evolution. The ship pulsed with an inner light, part energy, part consciousness, part unbreakable human spirit. Humanity was ready. Commander Raka of the Galactic Confederacy's 12th Battle Fleet never believed in fear. Across 17 star systems and countless military campaigns, fear had been an emotion bred out of their species generations ago. But as the first wave of human ships materialized around their battle group, something close to terror began to crystallize in the neural pathways of the Confederacy's most decorated military unit. The space around them wasn't just a battlefield. It was a living mathematical nightmare. Human ships didn't just move. They existed in multiple probabilistic states simultaneously. One moment, a vessel would be precisely mapped on tactical displays. The next, it would simultaneously occupy 3 different potential locations, its quantum probability waves collapsing only at the moment of strategic impact. Tactical anomaly, screamed Lieutenant Vex, the Confederacy's lead sensor officer. His multispectral sensory apparatus was overloading, unable to process the impossible maneuvers happening around them. Confederacy battleships, each a kilometer of armored technological superiority, found themselves caught in impossible geometric configurations. Ships that should have been attacking were simultaneously defending, their attack vectors folding through dimensional space in ways that violated every known principle of military engagement. Captain Zora Lynn, watching from the human command center, allowed herself the smallest of smiles. Quantum tactical overlay at 97% efficiency, announced HFY, the distributed AI coordinating the entire engagement. Dimensional manipulation within expected parameters. What the Confederacy didn't understand was that this wasn't just a battle. It was a live demonstration of an entirely new form of conflict, one where strategy existed beyond linear time and space. Dr. Marcus Chen, monitoring from the Poseidon complex, was running simultaneous simulations. Each human ship was more than a weapon system. It was a living computational node in a massive distributed intelligence network that could predict, adapt, and counter enemy strategies faster than biological minds could comprehend. They're trying to establish traditional battle formations, Chen muttered to Yara Okoro. Classic hierarchical military thinking. Yara's augmented vision tracked the battle in multiple spectrums. Watch the dimensional fold points, she responded. We're not just countering their strategy. We're rewriting the fundamental rules of engagement. The Confederacy ships began to realize something was fundamentally wrong. Their weapons, designed to be devastating across multiple star systems, were being absorbed, redirected, and neutralized before they could even complete their firing sequences. Raka's command ship attempted to initiate a quantum jump escape protocol, but the human ships were already there, waiting in potential states that collapsed only at the moment of maximum strategic advantage. Dimensional interference field activated, Araya announced. The ships weren't just blocking the Confederacy's escape. They were mathematically preventing it from even being a viable option. Each human vessel carried within it the genetic memory of survival. The trauma of the Nexus incursion, the near extinction of humanity, the desperate fight for survival. All of this was encoded into their very molecular structure. They weren't just fighting. They were proving the species' right to exist. Lieutenant Vex's sensory systems began to break down. The human ships were generating interference patterns that existed beyond standard electromagnetic spectrums. They were manipulating probability itself. This is impossible, Raka said, the first hint of emotion breaking through their carefully cultivated emotional suppression. But impossible was humanity's speciality. The battle wasn't measured in traditional metrics of ships destroyed or territories conquered. It was a demonstration of a fundamental truth. Humanity had evolved beyond the conventional understanding of conflict. One by one, the Confederacy ships found themselves neutralized, not destroyed, not conquered, simply rendered irrelevant. Araya's voice was calm, almost contemplative. Tactical objective achieved. Confederacy battle group, 100% strategically neutralized. In the command center, Captain Zora Lynn watched the final dimensional configurations resolve. This wasn't just a victory. It was a statement. Humanity had arrived, and the galaxy would never be the same. Beneath the waves, humanity's true strength revealed itself. The oceans were not just a hiding place. They were a forge. Massive underwater cities powered by zero-point energy had been constructing more than ships. They had been building a civilization prepared to survive anything. Each ship was a living ecosystem. Crews trained in environments that would kill most species, their bodies and minds augmented, their spirits unbreakable. They were not just a fleet, They were humanity's revenge and its promise. When the dust settled, humanity didn't seek conquest. They sought respect. Admiral Rodriguez stood before the Galactic Confederacy's council, her prosthetic arm gleaming, her eyes holding the cold calculation of someone who had seen civilizations near extinction. "We are not asking for permission," she stated. "We are telling you how things will be." The million ships behind her were more than a weapon. They were a punctuation mark to her statement. The aftermath of humanity's revelation sent shockwaves through the Galactic Confederacy that went far beyond traditional diplomatic or military channels. It was a fundamental disruption of established galactic power structures that had remained unchanged for millennia. Deep within the crystalline transmission networks of the Confederacy's central governance hub, emergency councils convened in a state of unprecedented uncertainty. Species that had dominated interstellar politics for centuries found themselves confronting a completely unexpected variable. Admiral Vexera of the Quantum Arbitration Council assembled a special investigation team. Comprised of the most advanced analytical minds from 17 different star systems, the team was tasked with understanding the true nature of human potential. "This is not a typical emerging species scenario," Vexera announced, her multispectral sensory organs processing information at quantum speeds. "This is a fundamental evolutionary anomaly." The investigation team began dismantling every piece of available information about humanity. Their research uncovered something far more complex than a simple technological breakthrough. Humans had developed a form of distributed intelligence that defied conventional understanding. Dr. Narration, the human representative assigned to the investigation team, knew exactly what they were looking for and what they would never understand. "Humanity's strength isn't in our technology," she explained to the alien researchers. "It's in our capacity for radical reimagination." The Confederacy's archives were insufficient. Traditional analytical models collapsed when attempting to process human potential. Where most species saw limitations, humans saw opportunities for transformation. In the Quantum Arbitration Council's most secure analysis chamber, holographic representations of human technological and cultural development created impossible geometric patterns. Each projection revealed layers of innovation that seemed to emerge from a fundamental difference in cognitive processing. The human ocean complexes were particularly baffling. They weren't just technological installations. They were living ecosystems of innovation, biological and technological systems, so integrally linked that they defied traditional categorization. "They've created something beyond a civilization," one researcher noted. "It's more like a distributed, adaptive organism." Political factions within the Confederacy fractured. Some advocated for immediate containment, viewing humanity as an existential threat. Others saw an unprecedented opportunity for collaborative development. Ambassador Ktal, who had been present during the initial diplomatic encounter, became an unexpected advocate for human potential. "They are not seeking conquest," Ktal argued before the Central Council. "They are offering a complete reimagining of interstellar cooperation." The quantum communication networks that connected different star systems began to shift. Humanity's diplomatic proposal wasn't just a negotiation strategy. It was a comprehensive model of distributed intelligence that challenged fundamental assumptions about civilization, technology, and collective development. Dr. Marcus Chen, monitoring the Confederacy's internal communications through quantum-entangled interfaces, allowed himself a slight smile. "They're starting to understand," he muttered to Yara Okoro. The investigation team's final report was nothing short of revolutionary. Humanity wasn't just a new species to be categorized or controlled. They were a fundamental disruption of existing galactic paradigms. Recommendation. The report concluded, immediate collaborative engagement. Containment is not only impossible but fundamentally counterproductive. Within the Poseidon complex, AI processed the multiple potential scenarios, running millions of simulations per second. This wasn't just a diplomatic or military victory. It was a comprehensive demonstration of human potential for adaptation and innovation. Admiral Elena Rodriguez reviewed the preliminary reports. The million-ship fleet remained a silent promise, not of destruction, but of possibility. "We're not here to replace existing structures," she said, reviewing the data. "We're here to show what's possible when a species refuses to be limited by existing understanding." The Galactic Confederacy was experiencing something unprecedented. Not a conquest, not an invasion. A transformation. 5 years after the initial revelation, humanity's impact on the galactic stage had become something far beyond a simple technological breakthrough. It was a comprehensive reimagining of interstellar civilization. The first collaborative dimensional research station hung in space like a living testament to human potential. Constructed through an unprecedented partnership between 23 different species, the station defied every conventional understanding of technological and cultural integration. Dr. Elena Rodriguez walked through the central hub, her prosthetic arm interfacing with multiple communication networks simultaneously. Around her, researchers from across the galaxy worked on projects that would have been considered impossible just half a decade earlier. Quantum entanglement communication protocols are showing exponential advancement, announced Dr. Yara Okoro, who now led an interspecies research team. Her work had become the foundation of a new form of galactic collaboration that went far beyond traditional scientific exchange. The station was more than a research facility. It was a living ecosystem of innovation, where biological and technological systems from different species merged in ways that challenged fundamental understanding of consciousness and cooperation. In one research chamber, a team composed of crystalline intelligences, silicon-based life forms, and human researchers worked on a project that would have seemed like pure fantasy just years before. They were developing communication systems that could bridge not just linguistic barriers, but fundamental differences in perception and consciousness. Marcus Chen, now the primary human coordinator for interstellar collaborative research, monitored the progress. His cybernetic enhancements allowed him to process information across multiple dimensional spectrums. "We're not just sharing technology," he explained to a group of visiting researchers. "We're creating the new form of collective intelligence." The million-ship fleet that had initially shocked the galaxy now served a different purpose. These vessels were mobile research stations, diplomatic platforms, and collaborative exploration units. Each ship was a living proof of humanity's core philosophy, that potential exists in collaboration, not conquest. Auraria, the distributed quantum intelligence that had been instrumental in humanity's initial emergence, had evolved into something far more complex. It was now a collaborative network that connected multiple species, facilitating communication and research at levels previously unimaginable. Ambassador Jonathan Rice worked on the station's diplomatic level, coordinating the most complex interspecies collaboration in galactic history. The diplomatic model humanity had proposed was now being adapted by multiple civilizations, a network of mutual development that replaced traditional hierarchical structures. "Our strength was never about military might," Jonathan often said. "It was about our ability to see potential where others saw limitations." In the station's central observatory, a massive holographic display showed the interconnected research projects. Quantum communication networks, adaptive biological systems, dimensional manipulation technologies. Each project represented a breakthrough that redefined the understanding of technological and biological potential. Dr. Imani Okik, now leading a cross-species research initiative, demonstrated a new communication interface that could translate not just language, but entire cognitive experiences between fundamentally different forms of intelligence. "We're creating a universal language of potential," she explained, her eyes reflecting the excitement of true innovation. The Galactic Confederacy had been transformed. What was once a hierarchical, control-based organization had become a collaborative network of mutual development. Humanity hadn't conquered. They had demonstrated a fundamentally different approach to existence. Each research project, each collaborative initiative, was a living proof of what was possible when species chose innovation over limitation. Admiral Rodriguez watched the holographic displays, reflecting on the journey. The million-ship fleet that had once been a silent threat was now a symbol of collaborative potential. Each vessel carried not just technological capabilities, but the core human philosophy of continuous adaptation and mutual growth. "We didn't change the galaxy by force," she said quietly to herself. "We changed it by showing what's possible." The collaborative dimensional research station continued its work, a beacon of potential that stretched across multiple star systems. Humanity had done more than emerge as a galactic power. They had reimagined what it meant to be a civilization.